Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new review. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well, my friends. This is That Cologne Guy. I am Ben. I bring you content every single Friday. You've seen the title and the description, so you know this is Lattafa Vintage Radio. And you might say to yourself, wow, that travel spray looks quite professional. Was that yet another one sent in by Jerry over at Lux Gentlemen's Society? And you are correct. So thank you very much, Jerry. I really appreciate that. He sent this in. I've got a couple more coming down the pike, and I really enjoy these. And again, in the description box is his site, so Lux Gentlemen's Society. Make sure that you check out the link in the description box. And for all of your travel spray needs, it's a fun site. Also, don't forget that you get a whopping 10% off your purchases if you put in TCG10 in honor of this channel, That Cologne Guy. So TCG10 gets you a coupon code and 10% off your purchases over at the link, which is in the description box. Thank you very much again, Jerry. I really do appreciate it. And this one was really a lot of fun for me this week. I'm going to jump in right immediately into the notes and say this. One of the questions that people ask me sometimes is, how are you able to discern certain notes and get certain notes from a fragrance? Of course, after reviewing, over 250 fragrances, you get better at it. But I will tell you right now, and it is no dent to my male ego whatsoever, I will tell you right now that I would not have gotten these notes. To me, this fragrance is another example of the final project is more of a sum of all of its parts. And so I'm going to list actually all the ingredients. I'm going to differ this time because I usually just put the ones that, I get, and then I tell you to go to Fragrantica. I'm not doing that this time because hand on heart, I was not able to really discern too many notes here. And when I read these, you'll probably understand why. On the top, you get lavender, sage, bergamot. And then the mid, you get plum. And I have reviewed a few fragrances with plum, but this one did throw me for a loop. Palo Santo is another note, and I'll talk about that in a second, and then black pepper. And then in the base, you get sandalwood and oud. This is a 2023 Oriental Woody, and most of you tuned in just because you enjoy me saying the word woody. But it is an Oriental Woody. So this one is to me, root beer, an element of woods in it, like a cleaning product. A cleaning product. I'm sorry, the citrus, and the lavender is like a cleaning product, and then you get the woods. Now, let's talk about Palo Santo. So if you look at if you've ever seen a movie where, like in a Spanish-speaking house, a traditional household, there's somebody who with a homemade broom, and instead of making this kind of movement where they're sweeping, they're more like wafting with it, and that is to get the bad spirits out, and that's why it's called Saint Stick or Palo Santo. And so again, if you've seen these kind of brooms where it almost looks like it's wood, and instead of this kind of movement, it's more like wafting to get the evil spirits out. This is a note that is not commonly used in fragrance. It is quite fragrant. It's a fragrant wood, and it's used more in Peru and Ecuador, or Peru and Ecuador. I really should say it in English. So it's South American, and it's not incredibly common in fragrance, which is why I said I could not have guessed plum, and I could not have guessed Palo Santo, and I don't feel bad about it. This is a really original fragrance, and so last week I neglected to mention that the fragrance I reviewed was a dupe of something, and I do regret that. I'm glad you guys pointed that out afterwards. This time I want to be clear. This one is a dupe of, and I'm going to, forgive me if I'm not saying it right, but it's Paragon Initio Parfum Privé. And it's my understanding that this one is a direct attempt at this niche fragrance, Paragon Initio Parfum Privé. I can't speak to that necessarily. Well, I can't speak to that at all, but I noticed many people said that it is a direct dupe, and I'm sure you guys can add to that. I apologize that I haven't sampled that fragrance, so I can't speak to that, but I'm under the assumption that this one is. Now, I have reviewed many fragrances from Lattafa. You guys know they're from the United Arab Emirates. I love Lattafa. They make, in fact, I love Lattafa so much that the Arabic fragrances are so great for me personally. They smell fantastic, they last an eternity, and they're cheap. And so it's the big three, it's the Holy Trinity, yeah? And so it's perfect for me, so perfect, in fact, that at times I think, maybe I should just wear these all the time and not review other fragrances. They are that good. And so they are right up my alley, aren't they? And this one is no exception in the sense that it lasts all day and then some. Let's talk about some of the categories in just a second. So again, I want to say this is my only attempt at the name for vintage radio. My only attempt is that it harkens back to the days of the malt shop, right? If you've ever seen movies in the 50s and the 60s when they go to the malt shop and it's like root beer and it has kind of like a bubble gummy aspect to it as well. And that's my best attempt at the name. Other than that, I don't know why they named it that. I will say, and I will put the picture in the thumbnail of the bottle. The bottle's cool. It looks really cool. The box that it comes with is cool. And I hope that it harkens back to, it's a wink and a nod to this idea of like a diner or the malt shop where you could get a root beer float. Because that's what I get. I mean, I get kind of a root beer float with just a tinge. If you've ever smelled Dr. Pepper, which it has a cult following. For the life of me, I don't understand why people like Dr. Pepper, but hey, you probably do. It has a very robust following, and it smells kind of like that, and then it has again the citrus kind of cleaning product feel to it, and then with the woods, with the Palo Santo, kind of an aromatic, and oud, by the way. I mean, it has oud and sandalwood, but I get more of the Palo Santo and the plum, and I to me this fragrance is more about the black pepper, the Palo Santo, and the plum. And so again though, I was not able to tease apart these notes, and I don't feel bad about it. It really is kind of a root beer float / Dr. Pepper / cleaning product / broom used to get rid of evil spirits in a bottle. So this is why all 32 of you watch these episodes. Call me what you want, but at least I'm original. All right, so this is vintage radio. This is an EDP, and it performs as such and then some. This one is great when it comes to longevity. Wow, I was very happy with longevity projection and sillage. The United Arab Emirates delivered again, and I'm so happy because this one functions as an EDP and then some. So you're looking at 10 to 12 hours on longevity. You are looking at projection for probably at least 8 hours. And then the sillage coming in rooms, you will definitely get people asking you what you are wearing when you're walking by them. The scent trail will be excellent. And so if you like this fragrance, this is definitely something that will attract. And I'm sorry, but when people say, go easy on the trigger, be real careful with this one, it's really strong, I don't see that as a bad thing. I like the strong ones. I like ones that last all day. I like ones that are a conversation piece, right? People come up to you and ask you what you're wearing, and this one will certainly be that. Now, for gender, I'm gonna say this one really is kind of unisex. It's definitely in the unisex category, and I will say leaning masculine. So I'm actually going to say I'm going to go, let's do a 2/3 split again. I'm going to say 2/3 of the people who bought this, it's their signature scent, they wanted it, are going to be men. And 34% will be women, which is pretty high, actually, for this fragrance. I do think that it barely holds, though, in the unisex category, leaning slightly masculine. So I'm going to go 66-34 in the split. Age group, I guess a root beer float would suggest, an older person, right? I'm not going to do age, actually, on this one. To me, this is another one that it's about the fragrance itself. A lot of guys are not going to be able to get past the plum, lavender, and Palo Santo mix, and they're not going to want to smell like root beer. So or anybody, it's not just guys, but not smell like root beer. So I get that. I'm not going to do age. I guess I'll just say 18 and up. But there's nothing about this fragrance that suggests terribly youthful or mature. So age is irrelevant here. Now, when it comes to the seasons, I actually feel personally with the lavender and the sage and the bergamot and the opening, I feel like this is another one that is really split for all 4 seasons. I could see this one at least, maybe not in winter, but I see this as a spring, summer, and fall, definitely. And yeah, maybe in the heart of winter would I reach for this? Perhaps not, but you could easily. This is another one that would be perfect for all year around, no problem whatsoever in the heat or the heart of the winter. So versatility is quite high, actually. This is another one that can be worn with any sort of formality, any formal event, informal event, romantic night out, work, office. This is another one that is highly versatile. The problem with this one, though, is can you get past the root beer smell, as I said. If you just don't like this fragrance, what I'm trying to say is this is a linear fragrance for me. It doesn't evolve into something else. Maybe within the first 15 minutes it does take a slight right turn, but overall this is what you smell in the initial blast is what you get for the entire 10 to 12 hours. So if you don't like the fragrance, or if you're lukewarm on it, from the very get-go, you're just not going to like this fragrance. Now, when it comes to the rating, this one was a relatively difficult in the sense that you guys who watch me each week know that I always ding a fragrance if it's a dupe. And I feel like they deserve that because they are riding the coattails of the previous company, in this case, Paragon. Initio is the house, I think, but forgive me on that one. I think it's Initio, but it might be Paragon. Help me on that one. And either way, though, these guys are riding the coattails of the other house that took the gamble and the risk, and so I prefer to try to get those. That said, this is another cheapie, relatively cheaply. I think it was $40 to $50 for the EDP, if I'm not mistaken, for the 100 milliliter 3.4 ounce, and that is superb. So I feel like it deserves a ding because it's a dupe. But then I also feel like it deserves some props because I openly admit that I could not have guessed these notes. This one really threw me for a loop. Day one, I was like, wow, what am I getting here? And it kept nagging at me. I was like, is it Dr. Pepper? And then I was like, is it cream soda? Is it root beer? Is it Iden Brew? So for those of you in the UK, whenever I have gone to Scotland, I've gone a few times actually, I always have Iden Brew, and I hope that you do too. It is kind of, if you haven't had Iron Brew, but you can't say it like that, right? You have to say Iden Brew. You have to, when you have Iron Brew, still doesn't sound right, but it's like for us it'd be like a cream soda, or what's it called? Is it butterbeer? Is it in Harry Potter? It's called Harry Butterbeer, right? I think is what it is. It smells a lot like that. So it's kind of like a cream soda, butterbeer, root beer, Iron Brew mix. So, and if you don't like that, then you won't like this fragrance. So it's highly original with the notes, a dupe, so they kind of even out for me. And I enjoyed. I really had look, these are going to be faux sprays today. I went through the whole thing here. You can see, I'm bone dry. in a week, so that's a lot. And I really enjoyed this one for a week. I will say though that for me personally, this would be a one and done, in the sense that I would get a bottle of this. I would like to have it, but I wouldn't get another one. It's a distinct smell that I like. It's not eye popping for me. It's not like, oh my God, I need to go get this one. I didn't find myself constantly smelling my wrist. I didn't find it addicting. And so I am going to go 4 out of 5 sprays in my rating system. I'm going to ding it. I'm going to keep it from the elusive 5 because it's a dupe. I do like the fact, though, that it has notes that I could not discern. I also like how it smells, and it's just a rock solid 4, right? I like the bottle. I mean, I like the box. The name, if it alludes back to a malt shop or a diner from the 50s and 60s, I'm on board. If not really sure what we're doing there with vintage radio, but I buy into the concept. The bottle looks cool, and the box looks cool. So I'm going to give this a rock solid 4 on this one. Vintage radio. These will be faux sprays, and they will go on my creator shirt for the 2 people who know who they are. And I will put 1 on each wrist and 1 on each side of the neck. Even though it's faux, I just feel the need to define that. Here we go. 4 out of 5. Boom. I got a little tiny bit. Boom. Nope. Boom. And boom. Yeah, I would have sworn that this had vanilla in it, because it really does have a Dr. Pepper root beer mix. Quite strong, actually. Okay, so who knew that you were going to watch a review in which a fragrance reviewer mentioned item brew? In fact, maybe in the bonus feature, I might have to put in a picture of it or something like that. I don't know. It just takes me back, and I'm having a nostalgic moment, okay, with you in the 17th minute of this review. So I hope you're doing well. This was a lot of fun to review. Again, it's a one and done for me, but that doesn't take away. Look, when it comes to things like, with like Scotch, Irish whiskey, a lot of times it's a one and done for me, but I really like it. So I really like this one. It's not a love, but it's a real like. And so 4 out of 5, get a bottle of it, really enjoy it. Moving on to the next part of the collection, and away we go. I will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this review, and always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. So welcome to the bonus feature. I wanted to clarify one thing and then mention a couple others. I wanted to clarify that a full bottle of this can be had. It's actually better news than I said. I said $40 to $50, but it's actually $25 to $35. I checked the price for $25 to $35 USD. You can own a full bottle of this. When you consider the box, the presentation, I tell you, the Arabic houses just are fantastic when it comes to presentation. Total props. They are the best when it comes to the best presentation for your buck. I love that. And they last forever. They smell fantastic. I mean, Lattafa has just been killing it lately. They are a fantastic house and catapulting way high into my top. When I do a top 5 or top 10 favorite houses episode, man, Lattafa is going to make it. So total props to them and kudos to them. I really appreciate all that they have done recently in their business model. Okay, so I thought I would take a couple minutes and just the astute viewer will notice that I unblurred the background for the bonus feature, and so for the 8 of you that stuck around, I'm going to have pictures in the card in your upper right. You will see there, I'm going to put images of the sodas, the pops that I have mentioned. So in the U.S., we have a cream soda. So I'll put that up. Then we have a wildly popular cult following Dr. Pepper, or Mr. Pibb is the dupe. But Dr. Pepper is the big one. Let us know in comments if you like Dr. Pepper. I cannot say that I do. I'm a Mountain Dew freak, unfortunately. But the good news is I behave. But I really do sadly admit that I love Mountain Dew. So that Dr. Pepper. And then, of course, root beer. Dad's is my favorite. But you can let us know if you love root beer. I do like root beer. And that's up there as well. And then finally, really no episode, right, when you're talking about cream soda would be enough without Eidenbrü. And so I included that, and it brings back wonderful memories. And then I want to end with, speaking of wonderful memories, I want to end with butterbeer, Harry Potter. So my daughter was a massive, and still is, but was especially a massive fan of the Harry Potter series, the movies and the books. And let us know what house you are if you like Harry Potter. But if not, I will leave you with beer, because these are the type of sodas or pops that that this smells like. All right, man. You guys have a wonderful week. Take care. And I'll see you next Friday.